Final Space. Oh boy, how glad I am of having randomly decided to watch this before going to sleep. You ever heard of binge watching? Man, I covered this non-stop. In one sitting, no food, completely lost my sleep and said it to myself, I have to make a video about this.
Answer me, you drug dealing caterpillar!
I had the constant feeling that there is so much to unravel in the show, and that what they've presented to us so far will develop in many ways. You can't really be sure if something like Gary's love for cookies means something more complex than what it seems. Or maybe it means that just like many of us, he really loves them. The point is, they sparkle your curiosity, it makes you thirsty for more information, you wonder how complex the concept behind the show actually is. Hell, it makes you think about life itself.
I feel so alone. You're not alone.
And then we get to why this got me so excited.
Why is that one cookie lone wolfing it across the edge? Oh, he's leaping! Whoa, he's like an angel! Oh my god! I'm gonna kill you!
It reminded me of the reason I fell in love with animation in the first place. As kids, our minds are super imaginative and we love to create universes, characters, and storylines. So when we see a cartoon coming to life with all its color, glow, action, and drama, we can't help but see our dreams kinda coming true. Even if it's inside of a screen.
You idiot! That's my freaking I am going to murder your face!
Some of the most complex and beautiful works of art I have ever seen were animations. Filled with details, sounds, music, and emotions. I guess I might not be the best one to judge this, since my favorite movie of all time is an animation. Toy Story completely changed my life, and it cracks my soul open every time I watch it again. And here's some proof of that in case you don't believe in me. Then again, what I really love about animations is how much I learn from them. More than any movie, series, or even real life, they taught me things that heavily built my character. I learned about bravery, teamwork, friendship, about never giving up, about respecting people, loving myself for who I am, and helping those in need. Because I connected with characters or the universe they live in, I felt inspired by them. And Final Space reminded me of that. I saw myself laughing because of rejected love or desiring vengeance, fearing for the characters' lives and crying along with them, imagining how hard it must be to deal with loss. Apart from all the humor, laser shooting, and emotions, one fact that makes this animation stand out is how detailed and cinematic they managed to do it.
But every time the camera cuts, it feels like a film. You know, film is very cutty and the camera's moving, so we're trying to make sure that the camera's always moving around. We're adding the film grain, all these things I mentioned before, so that like it feels, you're like, I know this is a cartoon, but it feels different. It feels intense.
We tried to treat this more like a feature film. Olin definitely wanted to take Final Space into a more cinematic realm. One of the things that we tried to get all the directors on board with was making sure that every shot had foreground, middle ground, background, adds a little rim light and atmosphere, like misty in the air and there's fire and smoke. So we wanted to make sure that every shot felt like you could tell what lens we were using. We're actually using space to build, Final Space. We took images from the Hubble telescope from different nebulas to kind of blend in this really nice atmosphere to build for that world. We were able to design the spaceship in 3D and blend it into the 2D world.
David and Olin said they wanted a primetime animated cartoon meets Christopher Nolan.
Punch it, you!
They developed entire universes for hallucinations and flashbacks that happen throughout the show, and you can't help but admire how deep you get dragged into them. After watching the whole thing, I started thinking about the references and inspirations they had, and they were not a few.
These things that I watched throughout my life inspired this idea. Movies like Interstellar, Moon, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Sunshine, Battlestar.
They used the same sound concept that Kubrick did in Spaceship Interior in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Also, the suit was clearly based on Dave's outfit. Q was inspired on Hall, and maybe even Gary's name had inspiration on Gary Lockwood, the actor that played Frank, the astronaut hovering loosely in space. But that's not only it. A few references worth mentioning, apart from all the cartoons that shaped the style, are The Matrix, Pulp Fiction, and obviously, Star Wars. I don't want to go too deep on it, but I do think that they kind of based Avocado on Darth Vader. But that's just a thought to keep in mind. Some of what happened in the pilot got to reappear in the first season, and you can see they changed some features and even the storyline, which shows how much the concept developed since the beginning, and how the entire team involved got to be a part of this greater work. In the BTS of the show, you will hear many times that the show has emotions, and that is simply true.
The idea was to create a serialized, comedic, epic sci-fi adventure with a plethora of heart.
It's going to be very beautiful and funny and dark, and it's going to have a lot of heart. Yeah. Just a ton of heart, just a big heart. Oh my god.
Olin himself has like a big range, so like almost Homer Simpson-esque comedic to like genuinely want to make you cry dramatic. And because it's organic to him, it's organic to the show and the voice of the show.
The relationships they developed in very few 22-minute long episodes is just incredible.
Thanks, bud. Needed that. Let's get your boy back. Whatever happens, wherever we go, we find each other when this is over. Deal? I'm sorry, Quinn. I hope one day I can repair the trust I broke.
I could try to break down how they did it, but to be very honest, it works because it looks real. Just take a look at this scene sped up. You can feel the bond that was instantly created between them. You can identify with the characters with the way they interact with each other, the way they shield themselves from what surrounds them because of the traumas they have suffered.
I can't believe I trusted you.
Queen acts super tough as a way to avoid connections. You can see she has trust issues and she puts it out in a very straightforward manner, revealing she must have had a complicated childhood.
We're going to die!
Not if you trust me.
I'm sorry. I can't.
I think you can.
Okay.
Okay, and don't worry. I have one of these.
To counterpoint that, Gary tries to deal with problems using humor, in a way of avoiding or bouncing them away. And I'm sure I wouldn't be the only one to connect with that, since most creative people tend to run from their problems, trying to keep everyone around you laughing so we forget.
I'm only answering that joke question because I literally run to get away from my problems.
It may pass unnoticed, but a major role in the final result of the show lays on the sound design and the music behind it. To sum up, the music is simple, just like the thin outlines that define this animation style. You will almost always hear a combination of two instruments, strings, light synths, or choirs on the back, just creating suspense, and a hissing piano as the main melody. When they interacted with water, the piano sound got replaced by a lower frequency key sound, which gets the viewer settled in the location. And only in some heavy action scenes you can hear percussive elements and more instruments joining the music. The tone of a story is heavily shaped by the score, and they focused on keeping it emotional, hence the rawness of the music. And the sound design is cartoonish, yet very full and real at the same time, collaborating for the whole vibe of the show and bringing the viewer closer to the story. I also love the fact that they said douche canoe on an animation.
I am not a douche canoe!
And that the wormholes contain actual worms in them. I really can't wait to see what the next seasons have to show, And I truly hope that more animations to come can keep reminding me of the things I really love about it. Hello. I just holy shit. I just wanted to see how long I could take that. Anyway, what's up, my peeps? So I'm really glad once again that I did this video. I want to try to make this more of a constant thing. Many of you have complained or, just like talked about me not being constant, and I want to try to make this every now and then. So like every 2 weeks maybe. If you leave some encouragement, that would be really good. And if you liked it, crush that like button, share with your friends, and just whatever, that stuff. And I'll leave a bunch of links on the description below as usual, stuff that I think it's relevant. And also you can follow me on Instagram. I think I have an interesting feed if you liked it. And also go ahead and talk to me on Instagram. A bunch of people from here went there and talked to me, and we made actual friendships. So that is really, really cool. I'm really happy to talk to you guys because you are actually like super, super nice, and you have a lot to offer me. Anyway, I want to thank Olin Rogers and the whole team behind it, because this is a really good show. And not only that, I also believe that it's really good to think about life and think things that you really care about every now and then. And this show made me think about it, and I'm glad. It was really nice to do that. And overall, my name is Konrad, and I make noises.